So many people are trying to make money, but how do you really make money online? I mean, there's so much to discuss here. Let's start. This is Hive Live, and it's the July the 1st edition.
Welcome to the Blue Hat Hive Live podcast with your host, John Hyam.
Which means that it's a perfect time for you to actually start considering and working on your own program, on your own digital offer. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Creating your own digital offer might take you a bit longer, but it is the only real way to guarantee that you will be in control of your own destiny. And why am I saying this? Because you may be very attracted by MRR or, all the others, affiliates, all the other affiliate systems that are available there. There are so many programs that you could join. So why make your life complicated when it could apparently be easy? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One is that you are building somebody else's dream. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can earn money from other people's programs. You are an affiliate, you resell their program, and you can make money that way, definitely. But it's not your dream. It's not your business. You're effectively the marketing department, the marketing and sales department of somebody else's dream, of somebody else's program. And you should never lose track of that. And the other key reason why you are no longer in control, even if you feel that you are, is that at any point, the creator of that program can change the rules. They can decide to stop. They could decide to, I've made enough money now, so I'm going to stop doing affiliate marketing. I'm going to start another program where people can come in and sell my programs, and they can replicate what they've done and simply do it over again. But you will, again, not be in control of your own destiny. And I think that in these very troublesome times that we are now, it really is time for everybody to realize how important it is to remain in control of what we're doing. The world is in chaos, guys. The world is in complete chaos. So what do we do about it? And how do we change what we need to change to be able to transform our business, to transform our lives? And it's not necessarily being the richest person on the platform. It's not necessarily to be the wealthiest, because that's got its limit too. It's all about the impact that you want to make on your surroundings, on people around you. How do you want to impact them? So I want to go through a couple of points with you so that we can discuss this and see how we can help you. Now, the first thing that I want to explain is why I call this Hive Live. Live because it's being recorded live. There's no editing to this. And well, there's a bit of editing, but you know what I mean. I put a bit of intro, a bit of outro, and then I post it. But that's why I call it live. And why Hive? Hive because it refers to the world of the bees. And I call it from bees to business, because bees can teach us a lot about how they discover new ways of doing this, new sources of pollen that they can use to build their own empire. And I am not talking to all the bees out there. I'm talking to a specific, in other words, you guys. I'm talking to you who is an innovator, you who is a change enabler, you who are adventurous and will not follow the beaten path. You see, in a bee community, there are different types of bees and they all have their own rule. And these rule alternates at times, but What I'm focused on is the type of bee who is always searching for new sources, who is always trying to find new ways of doing things. The adventurers out there who will go out of the normal routine to try and identify where they can find new sources of income effectively. And that is so important because so many people follow the crowd. So many people follow what everybody else is doing, but very few, and you are probably the one that I'm talking to, you are probably the one that will reveal herself or himself as an innovator, a true innovator, the one who will identify new sources of income, new ways of developing business, and it's not necessarily, and 80% actually will simply follow what everybody else is doing. Oh, have you seen this new trend? Have you seen this new program? I want to buy in. I want to do this. I want to also be able to copy you. It seems to work for you, so it might work for me. And there is enough chance that it might work for you. Very true. But you will again not be the master of your own destiny. You will be following the crowd, and there's nothing wrong with that in a sense. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm saying that if you really want to build the business of the future, if you want to build a sustainable long-term business, you need to do something different than what most people do. So you need to take a different type of action if you want a different type of result. And that's what I'm focusing on here in Hive Live. Hive means these 20% of crafters, business creators, program creators who are trying to find the new path, who are trying to focus on what needs to be done to do things differently. Actually, they are the ones, and I count myself in that, who will not obey the rules, who will not follow the instructions, who will, although that we know the book, we know what the book says, we've followed probably many, many courses, we've got plenty of certifications behind us, but it's what we do with it, it's what we create with it that really and truly matters. And that's what I want to talk about with you today in this particular episode. Create your own digital offer. So, there's a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself. And we've heard this probably in the past. If you've been following all these courses, you probably know that you need to focus on why you are doing things. Why am I doing this? What is my reason? What is my purpose? And all that is very fine, but it's not really the first question you need to ask yourself. To understand your why, you need to understand who you truly are. You need to understand who you are deep inside. What is the core that has created who you are? And understanding that it doesn't mean your identity, it doesn't mean where you were born, it doesn't mean your education, it doesn't mean the color of your passport or the color of your skin. It doesn't mean any of that. And why did we come here? Who brought us here? But who brought us here wants to follow their path. Well, we need to follow our own path. And that's why it's so important to focus and to identify very, very clearly who we are. And that will help us then understand who we want to serve, who we want to focus on, who we want our clients to be, who can we really help. And I always say that not everybody should be your client. You need to select your client. You need to find a process. You need to find a structure that helps you to filter out the peoples that you don't want. You can do that in your messaging by being repulsive in your marketing. That's true, and in your communication. But you also need to filter those who go through the grid, those who pass those previous filters, and identify who you really want to work with. You can do that with your price. You can do that with part of your content. You can see how people interact with you. You can identify their behavior before you start working with them. And only focus on the 1 or 2% of clients that you really feel you can help. Those who will interact with you very closely and very clearly with the intent of transforming their lives, of transforming their business with what you can bring to them. Obviously, why do you need to create a digital offer? I've said it before, you need to be in control of your own destiny. Don't build somebody else's dream, create your own. Create your own program which will help you to establish yourself, not based on what others have done, but based on who you are, your personality, what you can really bring to the business party that we are all in. Identify that with absolute clarity so that people can see that you are different. They can understand that you can bring them a different view, a different perspective to anything else that has been going on. That's actually one of the reasons why I tend not to listen. I tend not to obey the rules, if you want. I tend to not follow other people's courses. Maybe there are very valuable aspects to learn from other people's courses. I'm not saying that, but I'm trying not to be influenced by what others do. I want to share my own experience because I know who I am. I know what I can bring to you. My experience has built to this point that I know what difference it can make to you. And when you're struggling, when you're in the middle of chaos, when you are going through very difficult moments in your life and in your business, and you are hesitating and you want to quit and you don't know what to do next, and you really wonder, what are my alternatives? What should I be doing? This is the moment where you decide who you are. These moments show you the reality of your identity, your true identity, not your administrative identity, but who you are deep inside and what you can bring to others. And that's key. It's key to go through these moments. It's because you've been through all these obstacles. And I always say these obstacles are meant to show you the way. They are not made to make you quit. They are not there to tell you to stop. They'll tell you to do things differently. Pivot, change, move. If something is not working, it's because you're not doing the right thing. You are not doing the thing you are supposed to do. So pivot, change, tweak, modify, improve, build something different, build something better so that you can talk and reach the audience that you really need to talk to and attract. They are waiting for you. These people are waiting for you, but they haven't found you yet. Your audience is there. You just need to go out and get it. And they will find you because of the energy you bring, because of the authority you have created for yourself, because of the message that you have crafted, that you've tweaked, that you've modified, because of the words that you are using. Communication is so important. Communication is important in life. Communication is important in business. So you need to find the right words. With my words I create. Abracadabra. With my words I create. I create my world which attracts people to it. We all live in our own little world, you know. We are not in a mass society. We are all individual trying to focus on ourselves. We don't fully understand what others think. We've got an impression and a perception of what other people think because of the way they express themselves, because of the way they behave, the way they react to what we are saying. But we only interpret what we hear, and we make it our own understanding. We understand based on our own set of filters of what people are telling us. So, who should we attract? Now that we know why we need to do it, and it's really important to get to the crux of this, then we need to understand who do we want to attract. And not everybody will act on what we are discussing here. Actually, I'm sure that a lot of people have already stopped listening because they didn't understand what this message is about. And that's fine. It's part of our own filtering system. You know, but if you're here and you are still here listening to me, it means that this resonates with you. This makes sense to you. So the beauty of it is not everybody will act on what we are talking about here, which is fantastic. There's less competition. And it's also very tough to go through this process, and it requires a lot of energy and a lot of commitment. And only 2% will actually take action. You know, it's a very little percentage of people who will take action. 18% will wait to see if it works. Fair enough, they'll come later. And 80% will become customers of those 2 to 20%. Which again, you know, it's the Pareto rule, 20-80. It matches. And so you want to focus on those 80% who need to be your customers. As of 2 or 18%, you need to understand what these 80% are after. What do they need? What can you deliver? What can you supply to them that you can do with your knowledge, with your expertise, with your know-how? And experience beats everything. Yeah. So don't think that because you've read a book, you've listened to a podcast even, or you've followed some courses that you can apply this. It's because you do it that you become an expert. So you need to do it. You need to practice it. And that's why I hardly have any courses. Yes, I do have a couple of courses that you can go and follow in my inner programs. But my core way of working is by working with you as a mentor, as a coach, as a consultant, as an advisor, call it whatever you want. I'm there by your side going through the program with you, because that's what you need. You need to practice what you have learned. You need to be able to act on it. You need to be able to say not the why, the who, or the what, but how. How do we do this? And we put it in practice together by building your messaging, by creating your program, by finding the best way to communicate, by identifying together your audience, by focusing very clearly on the ways that you're going to communicate and the channels that you're going to use. You're going to experiment a lot, and a lot of the experimentation is going to fall flat, but that's part of it. That's marketing today. You need to experiment a lot before you understand what really works, and don't let anybody tell you that they've got a magic pill or magic formula. It is just not true. It is a lie. Okay, there is no longer a magic formula. There is a formula that you can build by experimentation, and it becomes your magic formula, but it doesn't mean that because it works for you, that it will work for others. We all need to individually craft our own little formula. And that's why it's important to have accountability. That's why it's important to work together with a small team of like-minded entrepreneurs who can work in a safe space where they can experiment without feeling the dangers of, negativity. We need to focus on working together and support each other so that we keep going, because it's tough. Don't let anybody tell you the opposite. It's tough. It's tough to launch your own digital offer. But it's so worth it, because once you've nailed it, once you've got the right people, you have the right audience, and you can talk to them, and once they are attracted to you because of your message, and you start offering them what they need, I can't explain to you how powerful an emotion that is, how much satisfaction you will get from having people react to you positively like this. It's worth more than the money that you will earn. And it will boost your energy. It will boost your bubble. It will boost how you think about business. And it will really help you to identify how you need to move forward. And then it creates momentum. It creates momentum, and it grows, it grows, it grows, and you don't know how to stop it nearly. There is one thing that you will need to focus on, though. As soon as you see that you on the up, you need to start working on your next offer. Don't wait to start for the peak to have been reached and you see that you are sloping down to start thinking of what you need to do next. As soon as you see that you are going towards a peak, start offering another. Don't wait. I can explain to you that in much detail inside the program. But it's a great adventure to go to. And what do we do? What needs your digital offer to be? It could be many, many things. It could be many different kinds of ideas. It could be a PDF to get started. It could be a mini course. It could be a mini consulting program. It could be a mini audit. It could be a full program. It could be a low ticket. It could be a high ticket, whatever you want. Who do you want to attract? Who do you want to work with? Who are the people that you really want to help? Identify that first, and that will help you identify the price level that you want to reach. And don't worry about what your financial objectives are. That will come later. It's a byproduct of what you do. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the impact that you want to have on people. And once you have the impact, the money will follow. What makes you happy? Because happiness will attract money to you. I often talk about a couple of friends of mine who are very wealthy. And they're the happiest people that I know. And they're not happy because they're wealthy. They're wealthy because they are happy. Their happiness has attracted wealth to them. So just bear that in mind. If you feel miserable today, well, you can guess what you're going to attract. Be happy, be joyful, enjoy life, enjoy sharing your knowledge with others, enjoy building a product that will help others, and you will see that money will be attracted to you. It will flow your way, believe me. I've done it many times in my life. So, how do we do this? Well, the what will determine the how. So it all depends on what is the best approach, but I would recommend that you start small. Whatever you do, start small. Don't overspend. Don't build the best possible product. Start very small, see how people interact. And your audience, wait for their feedback. They will tell you what your product needs to be. So don't build the best thing ever. Start small, see what happens, wait for some results, get some feedback, and then improve. And go on a continuous improvement of yourself and of your program. And that is what you need to do. So identify who you are, who you want to serve. Remind yourself why you are doing this. It's probably not even your children, your family. It's much deeper than that. We can work on that together if you want. Then we need to focus on the what. What is it that you're going to create? And how you're going to do it. And then there's a last question, when? Well, when is now. Now is the best moment. Everybody's thinking about their holidays. Everybody's distracted by everything that's going on. There's a lot of distraction in the world, and it's done on purpose. It is to prevent you from doing what you need to do. So now is the best moment for you to start. So what are you waiting for? I'm here to help you. And if you want, you're welcome to talk to me further. So I hope we will talk soon, and take good care of yourself. Bye now.